This has gotten a lot of attention, which I'm happy about because it's good that stuff like this gets attention. Melissa Barrera has been dropped from upcoming movie Scream 7 that I was not going to watch anyway, so I'm boycotting it now with no effort involved due to controversial comments. What controversial comments? Well, she reiterated statements and I believe linked to a piece on how what was happening to Palestinians right now is genocide from a genocide scholar who happens to be Jewish. So essentially, all she did was broadcast and repeat the sentiment that genocide is bad as filtered through the perspective of a Jewish person whose job it is to say genocide is bad. Anyway, so she got kicked from the production. Not the only one, by the way. You know, people always claim that Hollywood is full of like progressives and left-leaning people and blah blah blah. Um, but in reality, you know, it's always the same. Generally speaking, the artists who work on the media are left-leaning, but the people who make the hiring and firing decisions are usually just fat cat rich assholes, you know? And fat cat rich assholes tend to be pretty conservative, and conservatives in this country are tend to be hardline Zionists. People say it's because, oh, Hollywood's full of Jews. Go to DC. You know, go anywhere. Where you find conservatives, you find hardline Zionists because a lot of them are Islamophobic. A lot of them are like Christians who believe it will bring about the rapture, blah, blah, blah. Whatever reason you want to come about for it, you want to go to like, you know, communities that are disproportionately Jewish. For the most part, you're going to go to really progressive communities. You know, New York probably has a very disproportionately pro-Palestinian bent compared to a lot of other places in the country, in spite of New York being packed full of Jews. Oh, somebody in chat linked this. And I wanted to make sure it was, I wanted to confirm. Jenna Ortega will not be returning for Scream 7. Oh, wait, is this because of the comments or is this... This has nothing to do with the fallout from Melissa Barrera's. Who linked this? Who linked it? Who linked it? Hey, this person I come in. Just linking me like, oh, yeah, you know, I'm on to you. Ooh, I'm on. Ooh. I'm on to you. It's possible that she's lying, of course, and the reason she's not returning is because she's protesting the decision, but she doesn't want to say that because that would get her in trouble, but I don't know that, you know. Melissa Barrera has released a statement after she was fired. It basically says stuff that I would say, except less cool and funny and interesting, because I'm not the one saying it, you know? First and foremost, I condemn anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. Cringe, boring, liberal, should have praised Hamas, etc. You know, you're in for a penny, in for a pound. What are we going to do? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, Jenna Ortega has posted pro-Palestine stuff before. Is that true? Hold on. Jenna Ortega, Palestine. She looks like somebody who would post pro-Palestine stuff, you know? I don't see anything about that, but it's also because yeah, a bunch of news outlets at the moment are basically saying she left Scream 7 because of Melissa being removed as opposed to scheduling conflicts. So there's a lot of I guess polluted discourse there. Do you think Nazis are going to say Jews control the media pointing to this? Nazis say Jews control the media pointing to anything. Nazis see a dog shitting in the grass and say Jews control the media. You know, Nazis will get banned from Fortnite because they were screaming the N-word in voice chat and say that Jews did that to them. Like, their high school crush will get, like, rawed by their bully, and they'll blame the Jews for that. Like, everything, it's Jews, 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 Jews. Like, whatever, you know. The reason why Hollywood is like this is because the people who actually make the decisions at studios are fat cat rich, disproportionately white conservatives. And in any area in America where that is the case, you will get disproportionately conservative, and in this case, of course, Zionist perspectives. Not exactly a big surprise. So anyway, the firing of Melissa has led to this huge outpouring of condemnation to Scream 7 and the studio and the decisions they've made. And obviously, like, this isn't the only time this has happened. There was another there was another actress. Hold on, I retweeted this so I remember. I can just scroll through my retweets. This one. Susan Sarandon has been dropped by her talent agency. So this isn't a studio, it's a talent agency. After being vocal about the ongoing genocide happening in Palestine at a pro-Palestinian rally. Sarandon? Sarandon? Okay. Excuse me. I think that her comments were slightly more spicy. I did see at one point somebody showed she retweeted a Jackson Hinkle thing, but I think it was about the helicopters gunning down people at the rave on October 7th. Nothing that I saw her do or retweet was like indicative of her being a bad person, if that makes sense. A little bit more hair trigger, a little bit more like firing from the hip with regards to what she said. Yeah, it's not like she knows who Jackson Hinkle is, you know? So yeah, I think she was a little bit more I guess dicey in the way she presented her pro-Palestinian message, but I haven't seen anyone show her saying something like actually bad, like properly bad, you know? No weird campus bullshit. Um she implied that Jewish people don't face hate crimes. Yeah, the worst thing that she said, the one thing that she did that I would consider like actually bad, which people put their feet in their mouths sometimes, you know? Sometimes in other people's mouths. Was she said, you know, now Jewish people in response to the increase in anti-Jewish hate crime, she said now Jews know what it's like living as a Muslim in America, which is kind of invalidating. Like Jews have always suffered from the most hate crimes. So to say now they know how Muslims feel, it's misguided, but I think it's a real stretch to look at that and go, oh, this must mean that she's an anti-Semite. I just don't think that's the case. I think it was a poorly phrased statement that, um, you know, that doesn't entirely detract from a generally positive attitude towards the whole thing, you know? I think sometimes people are going to say cringe stuff while denouncing genocide, and that's definitely better than being just totally silent on the issue. Um, I had to tell a well-meaning Zelda artist to stop retweeting Jackson Hinkle. He's like the most popular person on Twitter right now. He was promoting that Oliver Stone documentary. I don't know which one you're talking about. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hold on. I remember now. From 2022. Aren't you curious why they don't want you to see this? Breaking news, YouTube removed the Oliver Stone documentary, Ukraine on Fire. Uh-oh. Okay, wait. She might be a bit of a campist. She might be a little itsy bitsy teeny tiny bit of a campist, guys. I'm getting slight warning signs. Oh no! From 2019, confirmed chemical weapons assessment contradicting official Syria narrative is authentic. This is what we talked about with Jackson Hinkle. This was the conversation that was like, well, were the windows open so the sarin gas could escape? This is really important. Why aren't we talking about it? We may have just discovered a major piece of the puzzle explaining how seemingly independent international organizations help deceive us into consenting to wars and regime change interventionism. We didn't invade Syria! Around the world. I don't trust Tanky Jerk that much, I'm afraid. But yeah, the campist sentiment has been identified. Well, I still think it says something that she got dropped from her talent agency for being pro-Palestinian in a cringe way, when being like subtly pro-Assad or pro-Putin didn't, you know? It's still indicative of a very slanted attitude. Like, imagine if Susan had promoted a super weird niche anti-Semitic documentary. That would have been, obviously she would have been ousted for that. But with the Ukraine thing, it's like, nah, you know, she's just quirky. Whatever. All right, well, thank you for letting me know, I guess. That's too bad. She's got a kindly face, but yeah. Can I fix her? Maybe you can, Superjet guy. Can't really say. God forbid women do anything. God forbid women do a little bit of a sadist war crime denialism. Okay, there was a real segment buried underneath all this bullshit. Okay, let's get past that. Okay, leaving aside like her disposition generally, you know, it is very obvious that there is a massive double standard when it comes to being pro versus anti-Zionist. in Hollywood and everywhere in politics. We know for an absolute fact this is the case in D.C. because Rashida Tlaib has been based and red-pilled in opposing the genocide in the Gaza Strip, and she was censured for it. Meanwhile, there are Republican legislators that were literally saying, like, we should ban all Palestinians from entering the country. We should deport Palestinians from the country. And that was fine. No censoring for them. So we know for a fact there's a massive double standard with regards to um, pro or anti-Zionist messaging. It's the case here. It's the case in Hollywood. A lot of this is because ultimately the people who make the big decisions when it comes to who gets hired and fired tend to be very wealthy and conservative, and that means they're more likely to be Zionist. A lot of it is because, okay, I'm not going to be a cucklord lefty and pretend this isn't a factor. In Hollywood specifically, there are a lot of Jews. Jews overwhelmingly are progressive leaning, which means they actually are at odds with the decisions made by studios in terms of like political bias. However, Zionists, both from Israel and conservative Americans, have been very active and aggressive for the past half century in trying to indoctrinate every single Jew into being pro-Zionist. That's why Israel offers birthright, where if you are Jewish, you can go on an all expenses pay, not all expenses, but you can go on a paid trip to, no, they don't pay you to go, they pay for the trip. They pay for you to go to Israel, and then you go to a bunch of museums in Israel, and they're like, look at how cool our Jewish legacy is. Look at this rock we found. Moses licked this rock. I don't know. And then this makes you a Zionist somehow. Yeah, close enough. There we go. So a ton of effort has been spent on trying to make Jews Zionist. And this is because Zionists obviously really, really, really do not want anti-Zionist Jews. Like, obviously, right? Like, there is no type of Zionist that wants there to be any Jews who break from the line in terms of that narrative. Now, there are a lot of Jews in Hollywood and Beverly Hills and Los Angeles and blah, blah. And, while the disposition of the wealthy will almost always be towards conservatism, I think that there is a kind of trauma-based sensitivity towards the subject from a lot of Jewish people in Hollywood who operate at like the non-executive level, right? So if there are people who are Jewish and they're like actors or they run like the production team or whatever else, they might be sensitive to the issue because they have almost certainly experienced significant anti-Semitism in their life, and, B, no, I don't know if you've heard about this, guys. I don't know if you heard about this little thing called the Holocaust, but as it turns out, it's left a negative impression on anti-Zionism in the minds of some people who, fear that it might rise up again. And mind you, by the way, this is probably even more exacerbated from the fact that Jews are more under threat now than they have been in a long time because the rise of far-right, political influence kind of implicitly threatens Jewish people. So a lot of Jews probably see what they perceive to be writing on the wall, and it's like, this rise in like super crazy right-wing fascist politicking alongside now people are going like hardcore anti-Zionist. I'm not saying they're right to be Zionist. They're not. They're wrong objectively. But I do understand where the fear comes from, where the sensitivity and trauma on the subject come from. I think all of this combines to to make it a difficult environment to be militantly pro-Palestinian. However, it seems like there's been a massive outpouring of support for Melissa Barrera, and to a lesser extent, I think, Susan, how are you all pronouncing her name? Sarandon? I don't know if this is some kind of in-joke or whatever. Somebody in chat said that my gay card is being revoked because I don't know who she is. And I recognize her face. I bet if I went over her IMDb, I would know some of the stuff that she's been in. I don't know. Was she in Red? I don't know. Red was good. Was it? I watched it so long ago. Rocky Horror? Wait, whoa. Was she the chick in Rocky Horror? Like the girl. Yes? Oh. Holy shit, she looks fantastic. That would have been like 50 years ago. Is she like 70? Wait, how old is she? This can't be a new picture. 77? Wow, serving all the way to the end. There is no way. Okay, she's had work done, but the work has been phenomenal. That is crazy. This isn't just crazy at 77. This is crazy for like, honestly, at 57. This looks great at 50. Like, Jesus. Makeup does wonders too. Yeah, sure. But there are shots of her where she's not wearing she's wearing makeup, of course, but like not so much that it hides the structure of her face. You know, she looks great. Okay, whatever. She is just built different. You know, that's what Assadism does for you. If you want to be young forever, you just, that's the secret. That's the key, okay? If you're if you're an Assadist, 99.9% of your body's cells vote every year to keep you alive. Whereas if you're not an Assadist, there's more indecisiveness on their part. So, I mean, I saw a lot of people contrasting against the Zionism is sexy video. He's in Stranger Things, and he was like, there was like, I don't know, a TikTok video or something. They were all, yeah, there we go. See, they're having a little brunch or whatever. They've got little Zionism is sexy stickers. That's cool. This is a good and reasonable thing to do during an ongoing genocide. Yeah, it's these people are contemptible. Obviously, I'm willing to excuse in communities that are Jewish or Jewish adjacent. I guess, like, I understand if there's a paranoia or if there's like a trauma or a fear with regards to the perceived safety of Jews and Israel and blah blah. That excuse does not run up to Zionism is sexy stickers. It's repulsive, and obviously Noah Schnapp has not faced consequences for this outside of getting absolutely tossed on social media. Again, a lot of Nazis are going to bring this to an anti-Semitic place where it's like, oh, because Jews control Hollywood. But again, they do that for everything. Like that claim has no merit when made by them. You can, like, the only time that a Nazi is correct in saying, well, the Jews did this, is when literally in front of them, a person they know to be Jewish did a specific thing and then stopped and left. Like, that's it. It's beyond that. They're just rolling dice. They see a dog shit in the grass and they're like, oh, a Jew did that. And they're rolling the dice. Maybe they roll double sixes. Maybe that dog should be on a leash and the person who should have leashed them is like a Jewish guy and it's just like totally incidental. Maybe it's a Jewish dog. But if it is, it's only because the Nazi got a lucky guess. This stuff reminds me a lot of the Red Scare, though to a much, obviously to like a lesser extent. Some of the best, I guess, academic work we have on the consequences of the Red Scare and of a sort of academic blacklisting is from Noam Chomsky. And Noam Chomsky has a lot of idiotic positions on freedom of speech, particularly because of the McCarthy era. Because as a consequence of there being the looming government threat of some like fascistic dipshit saying, oh, you can't be a university professor because you believe unions are good or whatever. He signed on that letter, that free speech letter, a couple years back. I don't even remember what the letter was about. Was it about J.K. Rowling? No. It wasn't. It couldn't have been. What was it about? Sarah Silverman said Israel had the right to cut off the water to the Gaza Strip and then hosted The Daily Show like the next week. Yeah, I remember that. Cancel culture, I think. It might have just been a general cancel culture letter. The idea of somebody as legendary as Noam Chomsky signing on to like an anti-cancel culture letter in the context of like internet discourse purely because of the trauma of being subjected to McCarthyism back when he was a young man 500,000 years ago. Whatever. Oh yeah, Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer has like legitimately like been anti-Semitic schizo posting on the TL on Instagram. Lost her mind, and she hasn't like been dropped by her agent or whatever. Again, it's difficult. It's a difficult environment.